everyone knows comedians, especially black comedians, literally thrive off of making fun of other people as their joke content. Like, everybody knows this. It's an unspoken rule, especially when you're a stand-up comedian.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your favorite host, and we are back again in your favorite podcast, Menisms, with the homeboy.
Murawa.
I was waiting for you to.
So welcome again, guys. It's another week, and we have some interesting stuff we want to talk about today. Not necessarily a topic in particular, but just some stuff that I think has been taking some heat.
Some good talking points during the week that were we noticed. But before we do get into that, again, you're on the Menisms podcast. It's Michael Scenario and Moyoa. Thank you all for watching each week. We appreciate you. Thank you to all our subscribers. Thank you to everybody listening to the audio podcast. And I think we just, like we said, we're just here to, we noticed some talking points during the week that were I think we just need to get this off our chest, really. But first, there is a story that we saw that we said, I think that both of us just want to quickly share. And this story literally defines Lagos. Any man that lives in Lagos can relate to this story so well. Because women will be like, they hear those stories, but you don't feel it like us. All right, so there's a story that we saw that basically defines Lagos. If you're a man in Lagos, you've been through this pain before, or you have heard this pain from your close boy or something. So I'm going to read part 1 of the story, and you're going to read part 2. All right. Sure. Lagos babe will leave Senator A's quarters in a Prado SUV and Toyota Hilux. Take note of that. As a security escort and drop at DMW headquarters. After 3 or 4 rounds, she's prepping to leave. Dammy Twitch is trying to convince her to stay overnight. Father Lord. There's a shoot tonight. It'll be fun. Quote. I just came to say happy birthday to Tycoon. I can't stay. Then she jumped in an Uber. In the Uber, she's telling her fashion model and upcoming Unilag rapper boyfriend she won't be coming over because she can't miss her friend's birthday. You see, what I don't like is that quote right there. I can't come because I can't miss my friend's birthday. Part 2.
Sorry, I'm still trying to take in this part 1 because, my God, there's too much detail. Anyways, so then she goes, me and Amaka go way back. She'd be so mad if I miss. 11 p.m., she's at Cubana singing Buju's Italy with Yemoli, White Lion, and Sula. Screaming, Shoma Kemi, Shoma Femi, Ajay. At the top of her voice. Now, 4 a.m., she's at DNA, cupping her boobs in her mouth, while 606 Autos pours Don Julio in her mouth. 11 a.m., she's just waking up after an intense Champions League match with one Tunde BTC from DNA.
All right.
She wakes up and heads to her snap, up and feeling funky.
All right.
Post highlights from night before. Last night was a madness. She posts the expensive chandelier and captions it, only credit alert can cure my hangover from yesterday. So if you're not sending me money, don't come into my DM.
The last part too, please.
Sunday BTC's driver drops her at her boyfriend's apartment and another day begins.
There we go.
And he obviously summarizes by saying, run away from Lagos babes. Go to your village and look for wife.
So, in summary, if you've never been to Lagos or you're from outside Lagos, there's always these stories about, if you've not wifed a woman, basically, if she's not your official girlfriend, then chances are you're most likely going to lose her to the streets. And when we say the streets, we mean the chairman, the high up there, man. You can be a young man doing your thing right now, making money is good, but there's somebody out there that is making way more money than you, and you just have to hope your girl has good character. Keyword there, character.
Yeah.
Because there's some character she mentioned there, no more.
You know what? I think this. I mean, again, our podcast is not to be talking about Lagos girls, but there's just so much content. There's just so much content.
And the thing is, it happens in other cities, but we're just talking Lagos because we live here.
Yeah, there's just so much content. But I mean, we can't dwell on it today, but I'm pretty sure one of our future episodes would touch a little more on this particular topic. We'll come back to it.
We still love you. Yeah. We still love you.
But we still do, of course. Lagos babes are nothing. Anyways, so I think we can move into one of the things we need to talk about today that's been happening this week. We're gonna start off with some altercation that was between the Prince and this DJ DimpleNipple. Is that her name?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
See,
DJ DimpleNipple.
I'll let you say the
Yeah.
story.
So anyways, I'll give a bit of context on what exactly happened. So apparently she. I think has been trying to work with the Prince, or maybe the Prince is trying to work with her. From what I read online, he sent her a DM reaching out saying that they needed to meet up for work, right? Now, of course, I guess they exchanged numbers and all that stuff. So I saw a WhatsApp message screenshot saying that the Prince was trying to reach out to her. That in fact, what the screenshot said was that she should come. That he's in Ikoyi. And that,
that's the one that
that's
said,
the
meet
one.
me at the George.
Exactly.
And then she now went to go and say, all these people were trying to meet in hotel.
Yeah. So the detail of the WhatsApp message was that he was trying to, of course, meet up for the work meeting that they needed to have. And he was in Ikoyi and he's like, you know what? Let's link up at the George and have our quick meeting
And that's
there.
where most people have meetings because it has an open space. It has an open space
I mean,
outside,
most
right?
hotels have open spaces and stuff. I mean, if I ask you that we're going to meet at a hotel, I'm definitely not saying
Exactly.
hotel. You get so. But anyways, he then said that, and I think a part of the message also said, or he can set up a 3-way call, and they just don't have to meet. And I think he then said, actually, she shouldn't bother with the George meetup anymore. And I guess maybe she responded, and then maybe there was. I mean, I'm guessing because I think she asked him something like, "Oh, what's happening at the George?" Almost, in a bit of a condescending tone.
But the thing is, okay, now that you've explained the story, I saw it over the weekend, and the thing about it is, I have so many takes on it, but is to say this: one, if you look at the context of what he said, like you said, meeting in a hotel, he's not saying meet in a bedroom. Most people in the entertainment industry meet in hotels because you're staying in hotels and open spaces. So she's herself. Everybody even said you should read the context of that message and you see it wasn't sexual. Two, the DJ you're talking about, there's been this new trend that I've been observing, and I'm sure most people have been observing, about certain individuals trying to become DJs when they were something else before.
Yeah, okay.
And look, let's say it how it is. Look, if you're a DJ, your skills will speak for itself. Obviously, there's a type of marketing that goes into being a DJ.
Yeah.
But some of these girls now, for example, this woman you're talking about now, we've seen her video. She's a content creator. She shakes her bum most of the time, all that stuff. She really sells her sexuality on it.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
As a DJ, the skills there, it's
I've never really listened to her DJing. I mean, I have seen a couple of her videos, like you mentioned, but I have never.
But it's
listened to her video.
what I'm trying to say is basically, she already positions herself in a certain way.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying you can't do what you can do. But understand you're positioning yourself a certain way. But don't start putting people in trouble now.
Yeah.
Just because, for example, now they say one thing and then you now twist it and then you want the whole. It's risky business. You get what I'm saying?
I think that's where I had the problem with the entire ordeal. All right. So, again, I want to say I understand where she's coming from. Right? In that, okay, someone invites you for a meeting at a hotel, then it ends up not being the meeting you expected. Now, I imagine this would play certain ways, right? If you ask me to come over for a meeting at a hotel, I would get to the hotel, right? Imagine that it's going to be in an open space. If you're then trying to transition that our meeting goes from outside the space to inside in the bedroom, that's where it gets fishy for me.
But then you can't put it from your perspective, though. I guess, at least to be fair, based off, how especially in Nigeria now, it's always the women, especially that go through that.
Yes.
I mean, obviously men can't, but women go through it in terms of men try and sexualize those meetings. Again, the things that need to be addressed is what kind of context is said in terms of meeting in the hotel, what time, these things. Because you're going to put other people in trouble that try and do these things.
And that's why I'm getting there. So I'm trying to point out that one, there's a stigma on meeting up in hotels, especially if it's like the producer inviting the girl over to the hotel, right? So that's what I'm getting at. But again, there's also the thing of context. Are we then going to say because this thing there's a precedence, then it means that nobody's ever going to have a proper meeting in any hotel? Is that what we're saying, right? So I don't think she read the room. I don't think she read through the context, because from everything I saw online, it seemed like it was business, right? There was nothing about it that seemed like it was casual and everything. So for me, where the problem now, kind of sprung up for me was when she started to call him out. Started saying things like, he's trying to sleep with her or something. I don't know, trying to invite her over. So that's where I had
and
the
that's
issue.
why I said there's also that part of there could be, because I don't want to judge, because I can't judge, but there's also that side of entertainment where you're trying to get the clout. Let's be real. Because you're already showing yourself trying to get clout in other ways. So don't mess it up for other people in the industry. Because right now, what she's doing that she doesn't realize, like I said, there are a number of girls like her that are starting to transition into DJs. Which means you're taking away skills from the real DJs now. Yes, you have more clout on the internet, but they're real DJs. Because guess what? You have to show your skills the day they book you. You get what I'm saying? So... it's a tricky one still.
I don't think it's a tricky one, right? I just think straight up, she shouldn't have just done all that whole call them out. It wasn't so
being direct.
It wasn't necessary. Like there was none of that was needed. But then again, like you said, if someone's a content creator, I guess she then feels like there's a platform for her to get some traffic. Right,
but don't put do it the right way.
At someone's detriment, I don't think that's the way. I don't think that's the way to go. But
because now guys are going to be scared to handle meetings with women now sometimes.
And that's locking up opportunities for other people, because other people that wanted to set things up now can't really do things normal, because guys are going to be like, yeah, you know what, before you call me out, let me just step aside.
For me, for example, now, like, being in the entertainment industry, for example, I don't like having meetings at night with girls unless it's like you happen to be in the same place. And most times,
it's someone you've already been having,
exactly. And even
meetings with.
To be honest, we still do it during the day. Just because, like I say, one, I like being out during the daytime. Two, is more peace of mind that somebody will not say something. Because whether we like to admit it or not, these things do happen. They happen. So we can't deny that. But in this situation, like you said, she shouldn't have. But
I think it definitely caused a lot of ruckus this week, and
that was one of the main talking points this week. But then there was another one.
So the Ruger one is definitely one of the other things we want to talk about, because I think one of our previous topics actually kind of borders around what happened in the whole Ruger incident, right? So, but
remind the people so they know what.
Yeah, we're gonna play the video now actually. So I guess everyone just watch. Let's see what we have here. He still finished his song. All right. So,
in seeing that now, all I'm gonna say is this: man, sexual harassment is actually real for both sides, and you can get. See, that was emotional talk. Because what women don't realize, you know how with sexual harassment, it doesn't really happen a lot to guys, right? Publicly, but you see that right there. That's just drawing the line. Because imagine if we're human beings. Imagine if he reacted from that. Then, of course, he gets in trouble for that. You can't do that kind of thing. Because imagine the pain, too. Like, that's even what I'm imagining now from seeing that, is the pain. From...
Do you know what I even think? Because I'm trying to... I mean, I usually like to understand, like, why things happen. I don't just look at the actions and just take it as that. I try to track it back a little bit. And
what do you understand from that?
Well, no. So what I'm getting at is this. Like, what mind process would you have to run through to think you are allowed? You know, okay, I'll give an example now. Mm-hmm. If a guy was on stage and there's a lady, maybe a lady performer is, performing on stage, and maybe she comes close to where the audience is, and someone tries to grab her tits. Like, I'm pretty sure that if he does that, if it's a sane person, one is either running away immediately because he already knows there's heavy consequence for the actions, or right there and then he's nabbed. Like right there and then he's nabbed. They'll probably even drag him on the stage and, just a whole thing. Now, the thought process behind that is he's trying to do a quick one, but still get away. He knows whatever he's doing is bad, or is, he knows that it's going to be frowned upon. Now, there was too much confidence in what we just watched. Because, see, like, it happened. She continued vibing. Like, one was trying to,
there was too much confidence.
There was way too much confidence. Now, I can't tell if she's intoxicated, right? Because again, we did mention one time about alcohol playing heavy roles in content, right? Right, and obviously she didn't have the consent for the action she just carried out. But
Question.
again,
But then I feel like, again, one thing we're missing, the reason she probably had that confidence you said is because we're also in Africa where rules in terms of, let's say, repercussions from actions in terms of sexual harassment and all that are
Don't
not
have
as
heavy-
strong
Yeah.
as the West. So, for example, even if it's for a woman, a man sexually harassing a woman in this country, how many times are those men really put in trouble unless it's a very, very big case? Now, flip it in terms of sexual harassment towards men. The African man himself is not going to report I've been sexually harassed, based off the pride. Not, I said the average. And then even the way it's portrayed now, like you just said, the confidence she can do that is because really and truly what happened after? Nothing. It was just boom, like you said, it happened. Security didn't even run up, touch her, nothing. Because if even a man that runs up on stage to a male artist already is getting rocked and all that, but as a woman now, they're just like, I'm sure even some African think it's not like, now woman now, she too, do that one now. Like they'll just literally talk about it.
And I agree. Which is why there's so much unlearning that is needed
from both sides. We'll say both sides. From both sides.
Because with that, it then lets us really know that society doesn't regard the average man as he should be respected based on sexual boundaries. That for me, it happens everywhere. In fact, and I would say that men also play a heavy part in contributing to this because, like you said, other men will even say, and a woman now. The fellow man that is meant to be chastising the babe for doing that, is also telling you, calm down, a woman. Like, say, yourself, no, enjoy him.
There's that.
Do you understand? So,
because let's be honest, if you were there now, for example, as a guy,
Yeah.
because let's just be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
If it was the other way around that a guy did that now to a woman,
Yeah.
other women around that crowd could possibly, I don't say automatically, could possibly join her to defend her.
Yes, of course. They will bash
Meanwhile,
him.
there were no other guys there going to babe, how far? You do this. Because
Exactly.
there's a bit of, and again, even me myself, I think for me, if I was in that situation with two ways, in terms of if I'm in the crowd watching that thing beside, it's probably the shock. Because how I said I'll just be in shock, like, wait, what just happened? Because you don't see that kind of thing. So it's like, is it in your place to now go and yell to the babe? You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying the real thought process of most people, because like I said, it's easy for us to say one thing here and then.
I totally agree.
Because if it was me now, they grabbed. On the other hand, I can't lie. We're gonna have a problem. Like, let me be real. Like, you can't just grab. Like, you know how you as a guy, you've been you've been grabbed. Like me, I've been touched, I've been grabbed, and all that. But that's what I said. That pain for you to like, yo, we're humans.
Yeah. No. So there's so much to unpack from it because now I'm even beginning to look at the angle of men not even acknowledging when they are being sexually harassed. Because now here I'm good with this. Because I'm actually even looking at the Ruger thing again. Now, if the babe was a babe he has been eyeing, let's just say, let's forget that there's even someone in the crowd. Let's say it's someone that he can possibly have a crush on or even move to, right? That did that. I'm just trying, again, of course, I can't speak for Ruger, right? And I don't know how he would react to it. But based off of everything we've discussed right now, I have the very strong feeling he won't have reacted the way he did.
If what? If it was a babe he was...
Yeah, if it was a babe he could move to, or a babe that he already saw as, ooh, or someone he had been eyeing, he might even see it as an advance.
Bro, this how aggressive...
No, so I know. I'm not even talking about like we're not talking about the impact of the action now. We're talking about the action itself, right? And the intent behind it. So, to him, I don't think, and again, I'm saying this because there's just almost no awareness on the fact that men can be sexually harassed too. Because, like I said, just like how I give the example, other guys will be like say yourself, enjoy them. A fine woman like that, say hold you. It's
a real thing. Like, you can't.
It takes a lot for you to discover that is a problem. Because we're in a society where it's not.
Look at when guys now, for example, like in Nigeria now, I know when I came back and I'll ask guys, like, like I remember when I'll tell guys, like, I'm still a virgin at 18, at 19. You got what?
They'll tell you, let me bring one.
They'll say, no, apart from even that, it'll be like, when did you lose yours and all that? Those kind of questions. And people will tell you they lost theirs as early as 10, as 11, or I lost it this age. It's like, bro, you were sexually harassed. I hope you know that. No,
Thank
now
you.
I knew what I was doing and all that. It's like, yo, my brother, like, fair on you. I don't judge you.
Yeah.
Because, again, we're kids. We can't decide at that age, you get what I'm saying. But really and truly,
It's
if the
sexual
person's a
harassment.
lot
Yes.
older than you.
You were abused. That's what it is. And it's unfortunate that, we haven't done like any polls or anything, but I am pretty sure if we do, more than half of the average Nigerian guys
would you
have
say
experienced
that's a very high number to say more than
of the average.
I know
Of the average. Trust me. And I'm saying this also based on personal experience.
Yes. But the whole majority.
See, if I look at it like this, every household that had to grow up with either an extended family member involved, a maid involved, or a nanny, or whoever, just an older figure that was not your nuclear family, that was the opposite sex, sometimes even the same sex, at some point had to undergo that stage of harassment. The only difference then was that as a guy, guys are more curious in exploration and all that. So to you, it's the cool thing because society from that tender age has already made you feel like you should already start moving to girls.
You don't make a valid point. I don't. It's just the general. I don't. want to
generalize. That I said. Yeah. So I'm saying this based on because already more than half of the Nigerian households have a nanny that they're growing up with, have an older cousin that is always coming to the house, have one older uncle that's always around. That's just always how
most young guys in that situation. There's a time you're going to be presented that you don't even realize that there can be some kind of either not even intercourse unless you actually have the sex, but even when you used to play, exactly. I was just about to say because when you started playing games from early, because even me, I remember at that young age, I'm playing. You play mom, dad with some older friends, family friends. That's like, okay, you're too older and all that. You don't realize what you're doing, and then some of them know what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, most times they do know what they're doing, and a lot of men don't know how this actually ends up paving a mindset for, if a woman touches me this way, it's not supposed to be a problem because how can you call it harassment? I enjoyed it too.
I say some people it fucks them up in terms of like their sex life because that's what I said. You lost it so early now that you don't understand what you've been through. So even in high school now, when dudes are going crazy in high school and all that, because as I said, I lost mine in uni.
Yeah.
So imagine I'm watching, and I'm still the oldest in my class when I come here watching this. So even the perception of sex now is a lot different because you've lost it so early.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But then you don't realize, like you just said, that constant cycle of your mindset. Now, when you get to your 20s now, that's when a lot of us start getting in trouble. And we see it.
Yes. Because it plays back to the whole... one, consent still has a branch to play in consent, has a branch to play in self-discovery, because this thing you're talking about now, like how you just said, you have to tell your guys that, bro, that's harassment. It takes guys, even up someone like me, it took me at least like 25 to 30 years to really sit down and be like, I was actually harassed. That was not what I thought was the enjoyable moment. It was actually harassment. And also, you see, because unfortunately for me, I still can't pinpoint what part of my childhood grew that curiosity in me. It might have been from watching older cousins or watching older, friends and all that. It could have also been from just hearsay. Because even in primary school, they even pressure you to be like, oh, even if it's just a kiss. Bro, just,
what scares me with what you just said? Because I came to Nigeria in primary 1 and 2.
Yep.
That's when I came to live with my grandma. And even then, I noticed how that dynamic of boy, girl, girlfriend started early.
Yes,
even by the time I came again 10, like I already had my first kiss by 7. So even at 10 years old, I remember I'm now in primary 5 in CTC and all that. It was like, yo, you kiss your girl, you do this. And
exactly.
It's like, you don't even realize you're being pressured. Bro, by the time I got to college in Nigeria, like you said, I told you, I'm still a virgin in college. People were calling me Captain V. Like, I used to get teased for being a virgin. And I'm like, wait, how old is everybody here? You hear 16, 17, some 15 and all that. It's like, wait, what? You guys lost it already? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a social condition, and a lot of guys need to actually know. So basically, you're just so it doesn't seem as if we strayed from the main point of the topic, which was
I had one more question.
One more question though. Rogo, yeah. Go ahead.
At least because it still focuses on the Rogo thing. Everything we're saying, everything, of course. But here's a question, because you went to school here. So, sexual education. Mm-hmm. One, if I remember correctly, is it taught here or it's not taught here, right? Just to make sure. So even with that, do you not feel that causes a lot of the main problems we see now? Because even in Western societies that are not perfect, by the way, but at least there's an awareness they still indirectly give you from early. Because, like, for example, school in America, in middle school, you start sex education by 5th grade. So 5th grade, you're 10, 11 years old that you learn, this is sex. Yeah. Then middle school, you start having more sex education that you at least are learning some stuff about it that you can be curious. Bro, but here, where are we taught anything at all?
Bro, I'm telling you, even when you are married, they will not teach you sex education. In fact, they tell you, just follow whatever instincts you think you need to follow. It's almost like a taboo to have to talk about sex. And they don't seem to understand that there's so much ripple effect from that moral standing, because that's the only place it comes from. It comes from this, how can you be talking about sex like that? Okay, I'll give an example. How many average Nigerians do you think their parents even know what they like sexually? Let's just even start with that. Do you think there's any Nigerian? In fact, do you think there's any Nigerian who has his mom or dad know what they like sexually?
I just because I don't like general. Maybe yes, maybe I don't.
Maybe you do. I'm saying, do you actually know anyone, like just
their parents? I wouldn't.
Do you know? No, it's cool. You can't consider, and they could be like, oh yeah, my parents know I like this.
Oh, as in terms of their parents know their children's stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, information.
Yes, not information per se, but like, okay, I'll give an example. Let's say, I'm so open with talking about sex that my mom knows I like missionary.
Oh, then no, it's very rare. Like for me now, I'm lucky. I'm on the.
You're not. We're talking about people who grew up here. You're not conditioned with the mindset. Some of us
are. My mother's still Nigerian.
No, but even if she's Nigerian, she also needed to conform to some of the things you are exposed to in order to raise you right. As opposed to here, that if they don't, if whatever
okay, I
they
get
say,
what you. So
exactly.
For example, it's like I tell some of my friends now. There's some conversations I have with my mom that I know some people can't even try.
Exactly.
And it's not like it's a rude one. It's just like it's an awareness. Like, hey, mom, what's this?
Exactly. Yeah. So because
it's very
because
rare.
we don't have
that.
Rare.
It's very rare.
So now imagine, even after marriage, you still can't talk to your parents about sex, and those are meant to be the closest people to you.
That's true.
So if you can't, the people that are meant to tutor you,
that's true.
The people that are meant to tutor you on sex cannot even have the conversation with you.
So now you have to, and the thing is,
so you're relying on outsiders,
and that's the biggest mistake we all make. That's the biggest mistake we all make.
And that's why you find that somebody's just pregnant, and all of a sudden that's when the parents won't start taking care of it.
I tell people, like, look, my mom knew early just because, like you said, who else am I going to tell? Woman, okay, I've had sex. Okay, thank God my son is not gay. Okay, that was the first thing she said.
Exactly.
She's like, okay, thank God. She said, okay, from now on, just be using condoms, because if you bring any child in this house, I'll kill you.
Exactly.
And it started from there.
And the thing is, even with all that, they still don't even tell you. It's funny. They actually don't even warn you against sexually harassing people, what to do and what not to do. Because you just carry your wheels and just get into the road.
Even when you see the stories about this, they'll just be like this. Well, you see, maybe the parents didn't raise them right. It's like, you can't blame the parents.
Even the same people that are saying the parents didn't raise them right also never raised their own children, in a better way. Because there's actually, I would say, if there are any Nigerian parents who actually do that, then they're exposed. It means that their own children didn't grow up here. They were forced to have to open up their minds to what their children have to say. It's just like, kids who grew up in America but have Nigerian parents can always talk back to their parents. In quotes.
Not all.
This is me doing this. No, this is me doing it. When I say talk back, I don't mean in a rude way. I mean talk back like if you have a point, I can raise my own point.
Let's say state their opinion.
Exactly.
Because I talk back, everybody be like, everybody do
that's their opinion. That's what I mean by
right.
That's why I did this.
You're right.
Yeah. So when they're raised outside the country, the parents always have to conform, because deep down Nigerian parents know that the truth is they can actually talk about, but everybody just has this moral bubble that they're all in, and so many things that we're supposed to discuss we can't discuss. And I'll tell you, the average Nigerian still walks around guessing what sexual harassment is or is not. And there's just no concrete information on what it really is and what you should and shouldn't do.
This is gonna sound funny, but if I honestly, even from early, didn't talk to my mom a lot of stuff. Like
so many things
she
you
fought,
wouldn't know.
like obviously I'll go through it. She'll still fight and stuff, but the days I had to sit there, so I said, Mom, be glad as your child I'm telling you what I'm doing, especially with the life I live. Be glad I'm telling you, because if I didn't tell you, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So at least even you telling you now, even if they don't give you the best advice, because sometimes she won't even, she'll just listen. It's like from even just talking as a child to a parent, it even starts helping you think like, okay, I've gotten a lot of the things out my head now. Let me process, okay, since she reacted this way, even if they don't talk, maybe, okay, this is not right, this is not wrong. Like you just said, that sexual harassment thing, bro, none of us, like if you even deep it, like this is the last thing we'll say before we go to this, but even if you deep it, even in secondary school, bro, you would see things as a teenager and stuff like that that you can't even discuss.
You can't.
Because even you're trying to figure out, it
What
was normal
exactly?
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Even me, I sit back now, like we're talking about this now, I'm sitting back looking at stuff in high school, I'm like, damn, that really is technically harassment, really,
exactly.
but it's normal here. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm like, if I go and try that in London or America, I'm finished.
Exactly. And you see, and because then there's an awareness on it, everyone is more educated than here. So even if socially, people will say, they're even touching you. That's what they say, they're even touching you like that. You're not even happy that babes are touching you like that. It's just it's lack of the actual understanding of what harassment is.
Do you like when babes touch you? Because I can't lie. I've gone to a point now.
If you're a stranger, why are you touching me?
Exactly. Like unless you like a girl I really like my
point.
I get irritated now. Like before, not even I'm sorry, I'm not aggressive by the way. I'm very friendly, but it's like what I mean is there's some over touching.
Yeah.
Because even me now, I know
like
I'm a touchy person. Like
yeah.
even like touching is fine, but there's like I said, as guys, we don't talk about this thing. Even now, this is probably the first time I've ever said this thing.
Yeah.
Because it happens. Like some girls really be touched, especially at the club. Like you know when you're drunk on a night out, like some girls really be touching. It's like I don't know you, I don't like you, and you can't say anything, Like you'd be like this. Look, you have to not do that shoulder move.
It
like
almost
this,
feels like a favor. Almost feels like a favor that she's touching you. Because some other guys are even trying to, maybe some other guys are eyeing her and she's touching you, and the guys are like, the babe that I'm even, she's touching you. You know. But anyways, I mean, I think the summary of this is just. People need to be more aware.
We need to start talking like
people
this.
need to be more aware on what sexual harassment really is, so that way, everybody, both male, female, men, women, we all need to just hold ourselves accountable. So we know there's no excuse for ignorance anymore in 2022.
Because nobody's perfect. Even as I say this now, talk to this, I'm still learning every day, but having conversations like this is what helps, like honest conversations that make you sit back and say, okay, maybe I need to.
Exactly. And I think to also wrap that up, also big, I really commend Ruga for his reaction, because that's another thing guys should also learn from.
As a young man, that man held himself. Yes. That's why I said, even me, I'm noticing even how I said, my reaction. I'm like, yo, this boy just stayed. That I said, as a guy, you have to hold so much in, and he's still a very young guy.
Yeah.
You can't. That's why I said, the pain he must have been in and shocked too. He's like, yo, I'm just trying to make my money.
And right in the middle of his performance, so you can imagine also how that would have thrown off his performance, right? So
he walked off. Did you see how he just walked off stage now? And he's allowed to.
Of course. So again, I think. You know, it's a good way to express your anger, right? Mm-hmm. Don't just bottle it in. Not everything needs to go physical, and that's how we're going to get to the next very, very hot section of what's been happening this week. So the last one we're going to talk about today is, of course, everybody already knows.
Guy
Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
My guy had his hands behind his back all through. See, bro, I know you know those moments. When someone does something to you, behind your back, you will grip yourself. That is, you will hold yourself back like, just calm down. Now, before we finish the video, also some things to note. Be very aware that Chris Rock cracked the joke. Will Smith laughed.
I know.
Yeah, so let's finish playing the video.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Now, I know to do what we do, you got to be able to take abuse. You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. And you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay. I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees. This is a beautiful moment, and I'm not crying for winning an award. It's not about winning an award for me. It's about being able to shine light on all of the people, Tim and Trevor and Zach and Sanaya and Demi and Ingenue and the entire cast and crew of King Richard and Venus and Serena, the entire Williams family. Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said. I look like crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. But love will make you do crazy things. Being able to love and care for my mother and my family, my wife. I'm taking up too much time. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for this moment. And thank you on behalf of Richard and Oracene, the entire Williams family. Thank you. Hope the Academy invites me back. Thank you.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Jim Carrey weighing in on Will Smith's Oscar controversy during a new interview with Gayle King for CBS Mornings.
They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
So regarding this Will and Chris, so first of all, I mean, before now, I've definitely had like back-to-back conversations with several people on their takes. I mean, I've seen everything that's going on the internet, and I've seen, people being on Will's side, people being on Chris's side, and all that stuff. Now, what I will say is, in my opinion, from a moral standpoint, both of them are wrong. And I'll explain what I was trying to say. So, again, like I said, everyone knows that black comedians, or comedians generally, thrive off of making fun of, roasting people. In fact, there's even a term, roasting people as content for their jokes, right? So, especially if you're a stand-up comedian, your content is literally your audience. So you walk up on stage, you're literally picking, if you watch any Dave Chappelle show, you know right there and then he's picking people out. Kevin Hart, same thing. Pick people out. Martin Lawrence, same thing. Will Smith, same thing, right? Because he also has crack jokes, making fun of other people, right? Now, was a line crossed? We would say yes now because there's some context and we know that, okay, Jada has a condition, she's going to blah, blah, blah. But if we're being brutally honest and looking at the plain sight of things, a bald-headed woman and Chris Rock, there was literally, that was the context we had. Anyone looking at that knows it's a pure banter, G.I. Jane joke. We move on, right? Now, that is Chris's line of how he's morally wrong, right? In that now we see context, we say, okay, he crossed the line. Because a lot of people too are, raging on the fact that he crossed that line. Then there's the Will's part of it, which for me, that's the heaviest. Bro, you stood up. That action wasn't on a whim, in my opinion. It wasn't on impulse. Because impulse is it happened before you had time to control it. Chris cracked a joke. You laughed. This is Will now. Will laughed, looked at his wife. She gave him a look. He stopped laughing. He stood up. Now, look, imagine all the seconds we're counting and all this. He stood up, walked up to Chris. There's so much time for you to... So it's not impulse anymore at that point. You have made the decision and you have decided to go through with it. Walked up to stage, walked up to Chris, smacked him in the face. Now, already that is physical harassment. That is... on any level, that is illegal. On any level, right? Nothing Chris did was illegal. Nothing. So, on a legal standpoint, Chris should be suing Will Smith's ass for God knows how many millions he needs to sue, right? But I'm trying to understand why people are being sensitive to the fact that, oh yeah, Jada's condition. Jada's condition is what Will Smith said something in his speech where he said, "Love will make you do crazy things."
Love will make you do crazy things.
Bro, imagine if every serial killer said that. Imagine if every murderer said that. Imagine if because if that's the case, as a man too, I can give an excuse that I was protecting my family. To me, it's horrible.
The moral of the story is don't put your hand on somebody because you've broken it down perfectly. Just don't put your hand on somebody.
It won't just make sense to me no matter how I look at it. And Chris, still being the man that he is, still stepped up and said, look, I'm not going to charge him. I'm not going to press any charges.
Because he can't. Not that he can't, but it's like basically you've already put a stain on the entire black community.
Yes. Do you get? So if he pushes further, then it's like a black on black.
That's how they can depict it basically. Because it's just like really and truly he should make your free money.
Make your free money, yeah.
At the same time, it's like two of the biggest black men in Hollywood that have at least built a resume up and also put a lot of people on. Like, that's why they said, look, Will Smith can walk in. They put a lot of people on, yes. Will Smith walked up there, slapped him. Nobody said anything. Because if it was somebody else, they would have taken them out of the yes. So, it's like, right now, just like I said, from what you've made that point, is like, I sit down more and think. It's just like, imagine as a man, you are slapped. Not even as a man, as a person.
As a person.
You are slapped. Woman, whoever. For you to be slapped for any reason, like there's a difference. There's a punch. You know when you punch as a man, you just be like, they slapped you. That's the ultimate sign of disrespect.
Disrespect, yes. And you know where that stems from? Because I was really, really looking at people's takes. Because if you really look at it, the reason why a slap is so assaultive is because even during the slavery time, that was how they were communicating to people to put them back in their place.
That's what Shannon said, yep.
It wasn't,
Shannon broke that down.
So it wasn't you won't see masters punch a slave. No, they will never, but the slap.
But the thing is,
the slap puts you back in your place.
I know Nigerians don't, we don't start saying slave.
That's why do you think even in the expression of correcting you to your senses, people don't say if I punch you. People say if I slap you.
That's why I said, me, I'm thinking.
If I slap you, you come back to your senses.
Like, I said that slave reference. I'm thinking Nigerian reference. Like, the only people that have slapped me are my mother, and then even the teachers that, those teachers that got those slaps. Even me, some of them, till today, I still think on sight if I see you. Because the fact that you slapped me. Like, I've talked about, like, there's some teachers I can't lie, on sight, because the slap was just the biggest. Like, that sound even...
So, I'm just going to have to,
For argument's sake, though, just for argument's sake, because I had this yesterday. As I said, even I didn't want to talk about it. But it's like, if your boy makes fun of your girl, let's just say perspective. Okay. Your boy, you and him have worked together, you've come up together. He knows your girl, he knows the stories, he knows what you've been through, even behind the scenes. Because in Hollywood, we only get to see the highlights in terms of your movies, your stuff. We don't know your personal life. Yeah. You've told him some stuff about your girl, and then even the jokes, you hate it. He goes on national stage and does it again after you begged him. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
So it's hard for me. So I'll be honest with you, right? It's hard for me to say because I tweeted something yesterday or 2 days ago where I said that it's very easy to know exactly how to do something when you're not the one doing it, right? So by nature, I know that I'm not a violent person. I don't react to situations with violence. So I already know I'm not going to walk up and slap anybody, right? So that I already know. However, I don't know if I'm so toxic that maybe I'll end up doing something that will ruin his business, ruin his career, ruin his, I can go those lengths, but I'll definitely say that for the love I have for the girlfriend, because I'm a deep lover as well. If I share information with you in confidence and use that as your content,
are you walking
for
up
joke,
on stage?
I won't.
If they slapped you, what would you do?
Okay, so if they slap me on stage,
If they slap
so
you,
if that's the case and they slap me, again, like I said, because I'm also someone who doesn't solve stuff with violence, I definitely won't slap back. On stage, though. On stage. Now, off stage, it's definitely going to be on site. So we'll have to rack it out. There's no how. No, I'll be honest with you. I usually, like I said, don't solve stuff with violence, but that fights have to fucking come on. We're definitely going to rack it out. But it would then be no need for national TV to have to like capture all that stuff, bro. However, we're going to solve it. If you want us to fight, yeah, let's do the
that's
fight.
like Chris Rock is a shock because I just say human natural reaction. Usually you look back and he still just looked. But that just shows
not
his
even that he even played it off. He played it off so professionally,
and that's why I said it shows how many years he's been in this game. That he has seen everything. That even that one, I'm sure for the first time in his life, he was shocked in his career.
Yeah,
but again,
he played it off so smoothly because I mean, his hands behind his back, saying that this is definitely going to be one night in history.
Defend your wife. But the thing is, if you're ready to defend your wife, be ready to throw hands.
You know what? Let's even talk. Let's talk about that. Defend your wife. He said something about, Will Smith one time, I think in one of his books, said something about his displeasure in his inability to protect his mom when his dad was hitting her.
Yeah.
By protect, he obviously means fight, right? Or whatever, just any way to physically get the man away from his mom at the time. Now, again, I don't know Will Smith down to the T, right? I only know what he's fed us in the years, right? And what I believe is that he's being pressured by his society into being a man. Because even in his speech, he was still, thanking everyone, saying that, love can make you do crazy things. If we really look at his actions, there's nothing else that would have driven a man to do that other than to prove to his woman that I can protect you. I can take care of you in this situation. I was watching an interview with Anthony Mackie and Wendy Williams. And in the interview, she said something like, so if a man says he wants a sandwich, then Anthony Mackie was like, then she's going to make a sandwich for me. And then he plays the reverse and he says that if as a man I take you out on a date and I say we're going Dutch, right? She's like, no, hell no. He now says, okay, if I'm out with you and a man talks slick against you, and then instantly she's like, well, you punched the hell out of him. Now, this is where I'm getting at. Men and women have already imbued this toxic masculine traits that we all are supposed to have. Where she was even supporting it too, supporting the violence of, if someone talks not nasty to me, are you telling me you're not going to beat him for me? Mm-hmm. Even when they make skits, right, where maybe some guy smacks your girlfriend's bum or something like that, and then next thing your girlfriend is going, babe, are you not going to defend me? You see, again,
but I feel that what you just said now is I've noticed, especially in the African culture, because you said the skits and all that. What you think? And it's mainly in this culture we do that. Like in America, they used to it's weird. It's like a transition because old America days is like, oh, I'm gonna fight for my girl. I'm gonna do this, all that. Like in American culture now, they don't even preach that as much. Yeah. The African culture, on the other hand, that has always been a
because they don't. Yeah.
Case like the toxic. I don't say toxic masculinity, but the
that's what it is. To be, if I'm being honest,
and there's some truth in it because again, I guess maybe my character is I like defending. Like if you're my girl, my friend, even. Me, I'm defending my friends. Like in terms of somebody touch them, I touch them.
There's actually nothing generally wrong with being able to protect. Mm-hmm. But I mean, are you then going to tell me that because you're trying to protect your woman, then you go ahead at someone else's detriment?
No. So obviously,
I'm trying to speak in the context of everything in the end.
So there's a time, I guess there's you have to understand, you have to have one emotional intelligence to know the time. So example, my ex now, for example, like my ex will come to Nigeria and my ex is like gorgeous. So it's like her first time coming to Nigeria. So obviously once I brought her, I know how many men are looking at her. Like for every guy understands like, yo, if you're dating a bad B, you have to be ready because guys are going to look at her. And some guys can't handle that because we're all human. Like even me, I won't lie. I had to go to a stage that I can be like, any girl I'm with, if you like, look at her, she's coming home with me. But it took time to develop that. I remember like she was here. I'll see some guys try it and all.
And you're ready to fight.
Like, not even that. Like, I'll just look and be like, yo, what's up? And then by the time we look at each other, like, okay, it's calm. And I'll see some guys who even still try it still. And then it's like, you have to just be like, all right, cool. In the end, you see your girl. She's not even looking paying attention. She's staying with me. Fine. There was this one day, I'll never forget. It was Island Block Party now. And we're walking out. I'm with my ex, I'm with my cousins too, my friends. So it was like, we're a whole squad of us. And we're walking out. So as soon as I'm walking out with my girl, me and her talking, then somebody's now trying to chat her out, like, I'm Yellow Bone, like, how far and all that. Yeah. So at that point now, I'm just like, I hear it the first time, but I keep walking because I'm just like, all right, cool. Because my ex hasn't reacted. Then they now try and call her again and all that. Then she now looks at me and all that. Then I'm just like, keep walking. Then, because we weren't even holding hands at that time. And so eventually I held her hand. Then after I held her hand, the guys now like, see, oh, yeah, we man, I be. So that's at that point I turned around. At that point I turned around and went to him, I'm like, yo, my bro, is there a problem? Is there a problem? Like, simply, I just went to say, is there a problem? And at that point, me, I'm by myself, I'm okay. But I'm like, my cousins are here, everybody's here. And at that point, it's like, oh, bro, I didn't mean it and all that. So I was like, no, please don't talk to me that way. Simple. Walked away. Now, sometimes I feel as a guy, you may have to do that. Because, unfortunately, especially with Nigerian guys, like, unless you check some people, they'll keep trying you.
Of course, naturally.
But at the same time, it's not like you want to preach violence. But I feel like every man still needs that, has to set that boundary amongst other men to be like, I'm not a pushover. You get what I'm saying?
You know why? So you know why this is interesting for me? Because this is for the people who are even physically able to, right? Let's even talk about people who are not physically able to man.
I know that big. See.
No, you don't. I'm not talking about big. I'm not talking about big. But
you know how you are.
Yeah,
you know,
but you know,
me.
but you know, you're even like an athlete, so you're actually physically informed.
Fair.
There's some people who are just feeble. All they just do is computer stuff during the day and absolutely nothing. But again, I feel like there's some sort of violence.
I get what you mean, though.
Because the reason I was even talking about the toxic masculinity thing is this, right? That bit of the video where he laughed at the joke, then stopped when she looked at him. Clearly, there's something going on at home that we don't know about.
I asked a question about that. I said, as entertainers now, there's sometimes you are in those presence of people that you have to laugh, joke like ha, but inside you are dying. You're like, I want to beat somebody. I'm like, how do we know Will wasn't doing that? Because again, it's not like Will Smith and Chris Rock are not top 10.
Yes.
So there's certain things they can't show their emotion in a way. So I'm just saying perspective wise.
Yeah.
What if he did that is like, you're looking at your wife, it's like, shit.
No, I still don't think so. So I think he wouldn't have needed to compensate that much.
Yeah, see, that's where the problem. Yes. The reaction now was,
if it was that, he wouldn't have needed to compensate that much. So again, like I said, I think there's some stuff going on at home. Again, I don't know what the full details are. That may have brought up this topic of him defending her in public or just fighting for her or whatever it is. That opportunity presented itself where he didn't want a case of, oh, there you go doing it again. So I guess I'm seeing that slap as overcompensation for trying to be that man that she's not trying to bring out of him. Because I mean, look at the series of things that. Okay, look at it now. If really this is his nature, what happened to August Alsina, bro? He should have smacked the shit.
No, I keep telling people this. One, the stories they give us online and all that, we can never go fully with it because we don't know if Will Smith put hands on her. Apparently he did. We don't know. You get what I'm saying? You know
on her?
On him.
On him, yeah.
We're not going to know now. We're just know entanglement. Boom. We know. Baba, do you know what it means for your wife? God forbid for any of us, for you to catch. No man, no matter how big you are, you can go crazy, bro.
You can go crazy. Exactly. So I was expecting that. But this is someone who he's still shouting about protect my wife. Everyone's problem with Will protecting his wife is that, I kid you not, most of the guys that are saying stuff based on the same woman that is disrespecting your ass, literally on live television, like just airing your dirty laundry.
But the thing is, here's my problem. Again, perspective, entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
She is going on a red table talk. This is somebody that's been married for 20-something years, and something happened. Let's not lie, most couples in the world today, especially in our community, something don't happen. And we even, especially with Nigerians, in fact, we're worse because you see it in front of you, of all these marriages that you just see it happen, and then you have to act like not. At least she came on the table and said, look, the perfect couple that you all think we are, because again, society has already put them up there.
Yeah.
Shit happened. One thing in my life happened. So everybody's now saying, you see entanglement. I'm like, look at you at home. Some of you have done worse. At least they're coming out to talk about it, saying, look, this is what they're going through and all that stuff. So for me, I'm like, people shouldn't now use that and say, oh, Will should have defended at home. I'm sure he probably did. Any human being or any man that has been caught or put in that situation, you're not going to think straight.
Well, I mean, I think in Will's case, and also a lesson for guys generally, right? And people generally. Yes, people will always cross the line against you on certain things that you hold very dear to you. Like, how we're younger, for example, and somebody will say, oh, your daddy's a bastard. Those kind of things. And, it's insults like, oh, when they insult you directly, it's okay. But when they take it to your parents, it's like, yo.
And that was the same, yeah.
So I think it's true because everyone has had those lines. But the truth is this, right? And this is why I stopped, resorting to violence for every solution, because in the end, okay, let's give an example. Let's say he slapped Chris and Chris actually fainted. Let's even paint that. Let's say he slapped Chris and Chris had a concussion. All this discussion we're talking about that we will not be having.
You sound like a Nigerian parent.
No, but I sound like a realistic person because things like that have happened to me before, where someone was given the lightest touch, the guy passed out, went into a coma. Everybody will not be saying, no, but I didn't really touch him. Nobody cares about the fact that your intentions were not to harm him that much. Because now you've harmed him that much, and now you are facing far more consequences than you can think about. So I think basically what it is you should take some lessons from it. One being that, look, people will always push you to the edge. Always. It could even be unintentional. It could be intentional. Always understand that things can be resolved, behind closed. Call the person to decide. It's true. I see. You find that your closest guys will be the ones you once ended up having fights with.
I'm not saying you're not right. You're right. I'm not saying you're not right.
Just call the person to decide. I know it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do, but you always have to train yourself daily till you get to that point. Call yourself to decide and be like, guy, this thing no pure. Are you actually trying to get us somewhere? If you're really trying to square up, then let's know that's what it is. Let's
I want
fight
to
it
put
out.
this in a perspective for guys, especially because again, we're saying a general thing, but I want to also put the perspective of Niger guys because let's be real, we all try and talk, but sometimes talking when you try and talk to guys, especially,
it's even provoking you more.
It starts this war, and that's why I stopped arguing with my guy, unless you're my close friend. Because even your close friend, sometimes your arguments will get heated, but at least you understand each other. I stopped arguing with guys. Like you say, I talk. And if I know it's something that a lot of guys, especially if it's something I know, look, talking is not going to win this battle, I'll take that off for now. Because I know my time is coming back and my points will be raised. Because I realize, even from secondary school, like you said, you try and talk. They always even joke. You two, they talk. Yankee boy, you, they talk. Because, I went to, do you know what's funny? It's Nigeria that even twisted me because for me, it's I'm growing in America, the system, you know how it is in Yankee. Guys like to rap. Me, I was not the fighter in America in terms of, I was a fighter because I played sports my whole life. Yeah. So I'm with different kinds of dudes and all that. So I've seen fights. The only fight I'll get into is if you touch my friend, that's it. So it's okay, I come to Nigeria now. And in the South, like you said, we're very peaceful. We talk. You only fight if somebody touches you. You come to Nigeria, it's every time you talk, somebody wants to fight you. Especially with Yoruba people, we're already passive-aggressive and all that stuff. And I'm like, damn, how are guys going to be able to talk things out if by the time we're talking, it just goes into this argument of fight?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Fight.
Yeah, and it's a problem we face generally because everyone is also trying to show how much of a man they are. And it's bro, we can talk as guys. So they would even tell you, you talk, say you be woman. That one is, we're going to talk about that and everything to do with that. There's one of my boys. We have a topic for that.
I love him. He knows.
Yeah.
If he watches this, he knows. When we talk and try and talk things out, we fight and argue.
Yeah.
But then when we calm down now,
you would even laugh it off. Yes, now you laugh it off. Yeah. So again, I think we can just close this particular last bit now by saying, don't start. Yeah, that's just you're trying to protect who you're trying to protect or your values or whatever it is. You're trying to show how much of a man you are. Please
Love does make you do some crazy things, Sha, but
learn to know when to draw your self-control. Like, nobody's going to always listen to, I was doing it for love. Nobody's always going to listen to, I was doing it because I care about this person. The actions always have consequences. If you're not ready for the consequences, do not carry the actions. Always think it through.
And
Always think it
and
through.
if you can't fight back, don't throw a punch.
Don't exactly. It's just that simple. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much. I mean, there's definitely so many other things that people have perspectives on. Based
But this
on
was
that
just
one, but yeah.
in this week alone. We just had everything. Like
I
this
mean,
was
I'm
back
so
to back,
sure
back
the
to
week
back, back to back.
the week is probably going to have more from how I'm looking at it. But let's see. Let's see. Hopefully, maybe we'll cover some things in the next time.
Thank you to everybody that watches our podcast. Again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to listen to our podcast on all audio platforms, on Spotify and every other app. You got anything else for the people?
Yeah. So I mean, you always also remember, so you can send us a DM on our Instagram on @menismspod, or you can send us an email at menismspod@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think that's it.
All right, so I'm Michael Scenario. You follow me on social media, Scenario on Deck.
Yeah, and I'm Murewa. You can follow me on @Murewa everywhere, I believe. Yeah. So,
All right.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. And thank you.